Many older parents give so much of themselves after retirement. Their time, their energy, even their hard-earned money, thinking it's the right thing to do. It usually starts with love, of course. You want to help your adult children, be there for them, maybe even make life a little easier than it was for you. But sometimes, without realizing it, you begin handing over things you might never get back. The truth is, retirement changes you. Your energy isn't what it used to be. Your resources are more limited. And the peace you've worked decades to build? It's worth protecting. But that can be hard when you're still playing the role of giver, fixer, and caretaker. In this video, I want to talk with you, not at you, about 7 things you should never give away to your adult children after retirement. Not because you don't love them, but because your future still matters. If you've ever found yourself wondering, am I doing too much? Or if you've quietly felt exhausted, taken for granted, or just unsure of where to draw the line, then this is a conversation you need to hear. And before we dive in, let me ask you something gently. Have you ever given away more than you should have just to keep the peace? If the answer is yes, or even maybe, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. You're not alone. Now let's get into it. 1. Control over your finances. One of the most important things to protect after retirement is your control over money. And yet, so many older adults hand it over little by little without even realizing what they're giving up. Maybe you've let your son manage the bills because you're tired of all the paperwork. Or maybe your daughter has online access to your bank account to make things easier. It might seem like a harmless gesture, a sign of trust. But here's what often happens. That small act of convenience slowly turns into a shift in power. You go from asking someone to help to waiting for them to tell you what's going on with your own finances. And once that happens, it's incredibly hard to take back. Suddenly, you're not the one making the choices anymore. I spoke to someone once, Gerald, 77, who gave his son full access to his accounts just because he didn't want to deal with online banking. Seemed simple. But over time, his son started making purchases without asking. Small things at first, then larger ones. And when Gerald finally spoke up, his son said, "I thought you didn't care." That hurt even more than the missing money. You see, your money isn't just about numbers. It represents your freedom, where you live, the kind of care you can choose, how you spend your final years. If someone else controls it, they're not just managing dollars, they're managing your life. That doesn't mean you can't accept help. But help should come with limits. Joint accounts should be used carefully. Keep records. Ask questions. Stay involved. And if something feels off, speak up. You've earned the right to protect what's yours. You spent decades working, saving, planning for this chapter. No one, not even the child you love with all your heart, should get to decide how you use it. You still hold the pen. Don't let go of it. 2. Ownership of your home or property. You've probably heard it before. Just put the house in your child's name. It'll make things easier later. Or maybe someone said it would protect your home from medical bills, taxes, or probate. Sounds smart. Responsible, even. But here's the truth most people don't say out loud. Giving away your home too soon is one of the riskiest decisions you can make after retirement. Your house isn't just a piece of property. It's your anchor. It's where you feel safe, where you choose who walks through the door, where you decide how your day starts and ends. The moment you hand over legal ownership, even to someone you love deeply, you also give up control. And once it's gone, it might not come back. I remember hearing about Dorothy, 81. She transferred her house to her son after retiring. He'd convinced her it would protect the home from future expenses. But 2 years later, he got divorced, and suddenly her home was part of a legal battle. She couldn't stop it. She said, "I just wanted peace. I lost it trying to do the right thing." Even when your relationship is loving, life can change. Your child could face job loss, divorce, debt, and if your home is in their name, their problems can quickly become yours. Your roof, your equity, your choices, all hanging in someone else's hands. This isn't about mistrust. It's about wisdom. It's about protecting yourself from the unexpected. So what can you do instead? Keep your name on the deed. Talk to a lawyer who understands elder law. Ask about living trusts or shared planning options that let you prepare without giving away ownership. And please don't let anyone rush you. You built that home. You made the payments. You filled it with memories. Keeping it in your name doesn't make you selfish, it makes you smart. It means you're still in charge of your future. And that's exactly where you should be. 3. Unlimited access to your time and energy. After retirement, time becomes one of your most valuable and limited resources. And yet, so many older parents end up giving it away without a second thought. You say yes to babysitting. You agree to help with errands. You pick up the phone every time it rings, drive across town, cancel your plans, push back your own needs. All in the name of helping. And at first, it feels good. You're needed. You're being useful. That part hasn't changed. But over time, something else starts to happen. Your days no longer feel like yours. You start to feel tired, stretched thin, even a little resentful, but guilty for feeling that way. That's what happened to Joyce, 76. She adored her daughter and loved spending time with the grandkids. But soon she was picking them up from school 4 days a week, skipping her own doctor's appointments, missing her book club, and falling asleep before dinner out of sheer exhaustion. She told me, "I didn't retire just to live on someone else's schedule." And she's right. Your energy after 70 is different. It needs protecting. You deserve time to rest, to enjoy quiet mornings, to do the things that nourish you. Not just everyone else. It's okay to help. Of course it is. But help should never come at the cost of your well-being. If your children assume you're always available, it's okay to reset the expectation. That's not rejection. It's self-respect. You're allowed to say, "I can help on Tuesdays, but I need the rest of the week for myself." You're allowed to turn off your phone, to make a plan, to protect your time without guilt. Because here's the truth. The more you give your energy away without limits, the less you have left for the things that truly matter to you. And you've earned that freedom. 4. The role of emotional counselor or problem fixer. As a parent, you've spent your whole life being the steady one, the listener, the person your kids could turn to with anything. Tears, fears, breakups, job problems, money worries. And even now, long after they've grown, that instinct to protect them hasn't faded. But here's the thing. At this stage in life, taking on every emotional storm they bring can quietly wear you down in ways you didn't expect. You're not just older now. Your emotional energy is more delicate. And constantly absorbing someone else's stress, panic, or pain starts to take a real toll. I remember Howard, 78. His son called nearly every day, venting about his failing business. Howard listened, gave advice, even loaned money. But slowly he stopped sleeping well. He felt tense all the time. He said, "I started feeling like I was drowning, and I wasn't even in the water." That's what happens when you become someone's emotional emergency room. You hear every siren, but you've got nowhere to put your own fears. No one checking in on you. So let's be clear. You are allowed to care without carrying everything. You can say, "That sounds really hard. I hope you find a way through." You can suggest therapy, support groups, or other places where they can safely unpack what they're holding. That doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you also love yourself. Your peace isn't a luxury. It's your medicine. And keeping your emotional boundaries doesn't mean closing your heart. It means keeping your heart whole. Because at this stage of life, your job isn't to fix everyone else. It's to finally breathe, to feel light again, and to protect the space where your own joy lives. 5. Full-time responsibility for grandchildren. There is so much love between grandparents and grandchildren. It's one of life's sweetest bonds. So when your adult child asks for help, maybe just for the summer or a few months, it's easy to say yes. You think, of course I'll help. I want to be there. I want them to feel safe, supported. But here's where things start to blur. What begins as just helping out can slowly become raising them. Full days, every week, all year. Suddenly, you're packing lunches again, managing tantrums, and skipping your own appointments because a toddler has a fever. Linda, 73, shared this exact story. She agreed to watch her grandson for a few months while her daughter figured things out. But months turned into years. "I love him with all my heart," she said. "But I'm exhausted. I didn't realize how much of myself I was giving up." And that's what no one talks about, the cost. Physically, caring for small kids drains your body. Emotionally, it pulls you back into a life stage you already lived, one you weren't supposed to repeat in your 70s. And spiritually, you start to feel like your own retirement is slipping away. This doesn't mean don't help. This isn't about closing the door on family. It is about being honest about what you can and cannot carry. Before you agree to full-time care, ask, can this be shared with other family members? Is outside childcare an option, even part-time? Can you commit to specific days or hours instead of being on call? Setting these limits isn't cold. It's clear. It means you're offering love in a way that's sustainable, not love that empties you out. You spent your life raising children. That job is behind you now. Grandchildren are a blessing, but you are not required to start over again in your 70s and 80s. You're allowed to say, I'll help when I can, but I can't raise them. That truth might be hard to speak, but it could also be the healthiest thing you do for yourself. And for them. 6. Your retirement savings or emergency funds. You spent decades building a safety net, saving, budgeting, planning. That nest egg wasn't easy to create. And yet, for so many older adults, it starts disappearing faster than they ever imagined. Not because they overspent, but because they kept stepping in to help their adult children. A loan here, a few thousand there, paying off a credit card, covering rent, co-signing on something just this once. It adds up, and it adds up quietly. Henry, 80, shared his story with me. Over 5 years, he gave his son about $30,000. Not all at once, but in bits and pieces. Car repairs, business ideas, bills. He told me, I thought I was being a good dad, but I was draining the tank I was supposed to retire on. And he's not alone. Once money leaves your retirement account, it rarely comes back. And if your health shifts, your housing changes, or an emergency hits, the funds you thought you'd rely on may be gone. That's not just a financial risk. That's a risk to your freedom, your choices, your medical care, even your dignity. Here's the part that's hardest to accept. Saying no to financial help doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you a responsible adult. Your kids have time to rebuild. You might not. If you do choose to help, be clear about limits. Decide ahead of time what you're truly comfortable giving, not loaning, and stick to that. Don't be afraid to say, I can give you this amount once, but after that, you'll need to find another way. Help them look into loans, payment plans, or other resources. Because protecting your money now could mean you never have to rely on your children later. And trust me, many of them quietly fear that just as much. You're not being selfish. You're being smart. And you're making sure the future you worked so hard for doesn't slip away in the name of just one more favor. 7. Not having a plan for your own care. This is often the elephant in the room. It's uncomfortable to think about, but what happens if you get sick or injured? What if you can't care for yourself anymore? It's a tough question, and many older adults push it aside until it's too late to plan. But here's the thing. Without a clear plan, your children will be left to figure it out, and that's not fair to them. They might not have the resources, the space, or the emotional strength to care for you the way you deserve. And if they don't know what you want or they can't afford it, it creates tension, stress, and guilt on both sides. The truth is, the earlier you start planning for your care, the better. This isn't just about creating a will. It's about setting up long-term care insurance, deciding who would make healthcare decisions for you, and having conversations about what kind of care you want. Jackie, 76, told me, I didn't want to burden my kids, but when I had that stroke, everything changed. My son didn't know what to do, and it made a really hard time even harder. When you have a plan, you give your children the space to step in as helpers, not decision makers. They can be the emotional support you need without having to shoulder the entire responsibility. This not only protects them, but it also gives you peace of mind. You don't need to have everything figured out today, but start thinking about it. Who would help with daily tasks? Do you want to live at home or consider assisted living? What happens if you can't make decisions for yourself? Having a conversation now, while you're able, can spare a lot of pain and uncertainty later. It's one of the most caring things you can do for yourself and your kids. So take a moment, think about it, and make sure you're planning for the future in the most thoughtful, loving way possible. As we come to the end, it's clear that taking care of our health, both physical and emotional, is crucial in our golden years. Remember, it's never too late to start making small, positive changes that can lead to a healthier, happier life. The advice shared here isn't just information. It's a call to action for you to take control of your well-being today for a better tomorrow. So, whether you start with a daily walk, focusing on your nutrition, or simply finding more moments to connect with those around you, make today the day you prioritize your health. We'd love to hear from you. What steps are you planning to take to improve your well-being? Share your thoughts and experiences with us in the comments below. Your story might inspire others, and together, we can build a stronger, more supportive community. Take care of yourself, stay active, and never forget, you're worth it.